All right, today we're going to dive into OpenAI's 2025 report on AI in the business world. And it paints this really fascinating picture of a technology that's not just growing, but is actually creating a massive divide between the companies that are absolutely winning with AI and those that are getting left behind. So let's jump in and see what's really going on. So, right at the top of the report makes this really big point. AI isn't just another software update. It's what's called a general purpose technology, like the steam engine or the microchip. And the real magic with these things isn't the invention itself, right? It's what happens when businesses actually start using it, weaving it into everything they do. And that's the core argument of this whole thing. That moment for AI is happening right now. It is officially moving out of the research lab and into the wild. We're talking about it becoming the core plumbing for some of the biggest, most complex companies out there. And this whole shift, it's happening crazy fast. So how do we know this new era has really started? Well, the report points to four huge signals that prove AI isn't just hype anymore. It's actually getting to work. Let's walk through them. So here's what we're going to cover. First up, just the mind-blowing scale of how much it's being used. Then, we'll look at the actual real-world productivity boosts companies are getting. And finally, there's this really interesting twist, a huge gap that's opening up between the leaders and, well, everyone else. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the speed and scale here, because we're not talking about a slow burn. The numbers show this is a full-on revolution in how work is getting done. Think about this. In a single year, the amount of messages flying through ChatGPT inside of companies has gone up by 8 times. That's not just a few more people messing around. This is massive, sustained adoption. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, because this number shows how deep this is going. A 320 times increase in what they call API consumption for reasoning tasks. I know, that sounds super technical, but here's what it really means. Companies aren't just having employees type into a chat window. They are literally plugging the AI's brain directly into their own software to solve really tough problems on autopilot. And check this out. This number shows how AI is moving from being a one-time helper to a full-time teammate. A 19x jump in people using these custom, specialized AIs. That means companies are building their own little AI tools for specific jobs, things they do over and over again. They're baking AI right into their day-to-day. All right, so we've established that usage is just off the charts. But so what? What's the real impact? Let's talk about the actual value this is creating for people and for the businesses themselves. I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? Is all this chatter and usage just busy work, or is it actually helping people get more done? Well, the data from the report is pretty eye-opening on this. And the answer is a huge, resounding yes. On average, people in these companies are saving nearly a full hour every single day. And if you're in a more technical role, like engineering or data science, that number climbs to over an hour. I mean, that is a serious chunk of your workday that you're getting back. And look, these wins aren't just happening in one little corner of the company. We're seeing it everywhere. IT is closing tickets faster. Marketing is launching campaigns quicker. Even HR and engineering are seeing massive speed-ups. It's across the entire organization. But here's what's maybe even more important. It's not just about speed. It's about capability. 3/4 of people said AI helps them do tasks they literally couldn't do before. Think about that. It's giving people new skills, especially empowering folks who aren't coders to do things like complex data analysis or even check code. So what does that mean for the business's bottom line? Well, take a look at this case study from Lowe's. When a customer interacts with their AI shopping assistant, the chance of them actually buying something more than doubles. That's a straight line from using AI to making more money. Okay, but here's where the story gets really interesting, because even with all this incredible growth and obvious value, the benefits are not being spread around equally, not even close. There's this huge, widening chasm opening up between the companies that are crushing it with AI and, well, everybody else. Just look at this divide at the company level. You've got your average company using AI for some basic stuff. But then you have what the report calls frontier firms, the top 5%. These guys aren't just using it a little bit more. They're sending double the messages per person and 7 times more messages to those custom AIs. It's a totally different ballgame of deep integration. And you see the exact same story when you zoom in on individual workers. The top 5% of users, They're on another planet. They're sending 6 times more messages overall, and a mind-boggling 17 times more messages related to coding. The intensity gap is just massive. So what's the big takeaway here? It's simple, really. The value you get out of AI is directly proportional to how deeply you use it. This isn't about just having access to the tool. It's about the intensity of how you use it. The deeper you go, the bigger the rewards. It's a straight line. So that leads to the obvious question, right? How do you get across that chasm? How do you become one of those frontier firms? Well, it turns out the leaders are all following a surprisingly similar playbook. It really boils down to these 5 key things. 1, they hook the AI up to their core systems and data. 2, they don't reinvent the wheel. They create and share repeatable AI tools for everyone. 3, this is huge. They have support from the very top. 4, they get their data house in order so the AI can actually use it. And 5, they actively manage the change with training and support. See, it's a real strategy, not just buying some new software. And honestly, this might be the most important sentence in the whole report. The bottleneck right now isn't the technology. The AI models are plenty powerful. The real roadblock is the organization's ability to actually change and adapt. So that leaves us with this final big question. After seeing all this, is AI just another piece of software that makes us a little faster? Or is it the new engine that's literally going to decide who wins and who loses in business over the next decade? The data in this report points pretty hard to the second one. And that chasm we've been talking about, it's the proof.